biological organisms are all equipped through their DNA to adapt to stress. It's just basic fundamental biology. You take a fish out of a body of cold water and put him into a body of hot water, and he can't adapt and he'll die. All right? But you take that same fish and you leave him where he is, and you gradually increase the temperature of the water, he adapts. Because if he couldn't adapt, he wouldn't be a fish. He'd be dead. And he's been a fish for hundreds and hundreds of millions of years, and his biology has accommodated itself to the fact that the environment in which an animal finds itself is liable to change. Change is normal. And if you're not equipped to deal with change, then you die. This is biology. Biology has adapted over the billions of years that it's existed to be able to handle changes in the environment. And that's all we're doing with the barbell. We are taking advantage of the basic principle of biology, that is adaptation, your ability to adapt. Now, what we have had to learn how to do is to decide on how much stress to apply, how frequently to apply it, and what the mechanics of the application of that stress look like, right? By that I mean how long between sets, how much rest between sets, how big it jumps, the movement pattern that we're going to use to apply the stress. And we apply the stress very carefully and with the use of 4 or 5 different exercises. And we gradually increase. Every time you come in, we apply a little more stress. We apply stress to the organism, and the organism adapts to that stress. And it will continue to adapt to that stress as long as the stress is not overwhelming. Now, this was first observed in literature back in about 1936 by a biologist by the name of Hans Selye. And it was published in, I believe, the journal Nature. And it was a very quiet little paper. It's probably a 600-word little article in the journal. And it made the observation that if you stress an organism, that the organism can either adapt to the stress or it'll die, depending on the magnitude of the stress. And all we have done is take that principle and applied it to strength training. That's all we've done. But it is a very important thing to note that nowhere in the exercise science literature has this thing been expanded upon by anybody but us. This is the most important observation about exercise that could be made. How does it work? What's the best way to make it work? What do we do if we want to improve physical performance? What governs our response to that stress? What governs physical performance and our ability to increase that performance level? All these things are terribly important, but it's gone completely unnoticed.
The really silly thing is that they'll acknowledge it, but then they'll acknowledge it, say general adaptation syndrome, and then forget about it.
And then forget about it, start talking about something else.
Yeah, start talking about other shit. It's very weird.
Yeah, it's really, really, very odd.
There's no connection between, okay, so here's the foundational principle. What's the best way to take advantage of it?
Yes. No, it's just